The countdown is on. Tomorrow, the government will announce its long-awaited energy independence strategy, which has come into sharp focus given Europe's reliance on Russian oil and gas. And there is absolutely no reason why we should not frack. Remember who it was who spent years sharing conspiracy theories about fracking, otherwise known as shale gas extraction? Vladimir Putin's propaganda channel RT, backed up by the sorts of eco-extremists who would rather have Brits shivering in their homes, even though the UK is responsible for less than 1% of the world's carbon emissions. That innocent time when the red carpet was rolled out for that odd little Swedish girl, Greta Thunberg, at Westminster, and the police danced with Extinction Rebellion protesters. Remember that? Well, it's ancient history, folks. As I said at the time, that approach, favoured by the London liberal elite and first-class flying champagne socialists like Emma Thompson, was grossly naive and actually highly irresponsible. It emboldened and distorted the worldview of extremists like Just Stop Oil's couple from hell, Amy and Ben, who in grimy-faced dispatches have been dumbfounded as to why more people aren't rushing to tunnel under oil pipes, just like they have been doing for 5 days at the Navigator terminal in Essex.
I'm wondering, where is everyone? This is an emergency that we're in, and it needs an emergency response. We need more people to step up. Oil is killing people right now. It's fueling wars like what's happening in the Ukraine. It is the main driver of global genocide. We need to just stop oil, and we can only do it if we all step up together, step out of our comfort zones.
I mean, honestly, get a grip and get somewhere with a shower. And take a look at Hannah, a cut-price Thunberg tribute act who's chained herself to the ceiling of the same terminal to deliver the worst Braveheart impression I've ever seen.
My message is that they can take away my liberty, they can take away my freedom. They can choose to ignore the alarm we are sounding on the climate crisis, but they cannot take away our courage. They can't take away my courage.
So after years of public permissiveness of eco-disruption, we're playing catch-up now, and there isn't a moment to wait, given the increasing cost of living crisis. Former Energy Secretary Andrea Leadsom agrees fracking should return. This is what she told me.
So I'm a big fan of it, and I think the regulations were set too narrowly. And so if we are to start shale gas extraction, then we would need to change the regulations, particularly on tremors, which were set very, very, like the slamming of a door. I mean, so unbelievably low. I would hope that certainly the government would look kindly on communities who want to, in return for free gas, enjoy shale gas extraction. It's not nearly as big an imposition as they say.
And as for all those doomsday scenarios presented by the Greenie loons, utter baloney. The much trumpeted but completely hysterical fears over the earthquake risk from fracking is actually no worse than coal mining and can be mitigated. A government review will be told according to today's Daily Telegraph. Professor Richard Davies, a petroleum geologist and Pro-Vice-Chancellor at Newcastle University, told the newspaper earthquakes from fracking are unlikely to provide a risk. He said, "We lived with them without much concern during the coal mining era. During coal production, vast numbers of earthquakes were created in the UK right until the 1980s and the coal miners' strike. Effectively, Margaret Thatcher stopped the earthquakes and they were never very big. It's the same set of rocks. The risk of seismicity is high, but the impact is low." Now, you remember back in 2019, the government put a temporary ban on fracking as part of the self-destructive green agenda, with plans in place to seal two of the country's only viable shale gas wells. But as I always say, if you go woke, you go broke. Because according to experts, just 10% of our fracking resource would make the UK self-sufficient in natural gas for 50 years. A fracking strategy would also create tens of thousands of jobs. Sure, it will take some time and not impact energy prices in the short term. But it is an answer as we balance new nuclear power plants and the move towards wind and solar energy, both of which will take even longer. Fracking is used widely and very safely in the US, so we must ignore the propaganda from Russian interests and green extremists who want to take us back to pre-Victorian times. The government tomorrow should announce plans to frack.